Hi, welcome to WeJane TV. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Ilsy who?
And I'm Beth Tancredi.
We are so happy to have you here. We're super excited. I hope you watched our introduction video. Now we officially have our episode 1 video, and we have spectacular guests with us today. We want to welcome Melissa. Hi. And Marcie. Hi. They are great moms, entrepreneurs, single moms, always on that hustle. Just really powerful people that we came across and we met, and we really are inspired by them. So I'm going to leave this off to Beth.
So thank you for joining us. So first thing I want to talk about with you ladies is tell me a little bit about your businesses. You're single moms, you have your own businesses, and certainly you have a story behind why you started them. Melissa?
I have been in the mortgage industry for about 23 years now. I kind of lost count. I started when I was 21, and about 2 years ago, I became a caregiver for my mom. About a little over a year ago, my daughter and I started a t-shirt business, a motivational tank top business. Mm-hmm. And a few months ago, I became an affiliate for a CBD oil product company.
So you have your hands full.
I would say yes. That's a definite yes.
So tell us a little bit about, actually, Marcie, why don't you tell me a little bit about your business?
I actually started with a new company about a year ago. It's all clean living products. I lost my mom to breast cancer about 20 years ago and never realized that how much the environment and things that we were putting in and on our bodies were really affecting everything. And I came across this company and realized that what I was giving to my children and to myself really needed to be toxin free. And this company, the products, they range in everything that you use on your hair, on your body, inside your body, and it was something that I felt very strongly about. I do have a day job that I've been at for almost 18 years that has absolutely nothing to do with being an entrepreneur, that I've tried for years to replace. Yes. It's hard as an entrepreneur to have that spirit, but also working that full-time job for someone else, and that's something that I struggle with, but something that kind of keeps me motivated. So,
and that's really great actually, because one of the things, and I'm completely in your boat, I understand that. And so what do you think it would take for you to make the leap, right? For you to leap into complete entrepreneurship?
I would really need the business to be consistent, and I know that a lot of that depends on me. And as much as I feel like I'm consistent with what I do, I know there's probably a lot more that I can be doing. It's just finding those pockets of time to do it.
I assume you have the same issues.
Oh yeah, it's hard to keep juggling and keep all the balls in the air and just find enough time for everything. And I always feel like I'm always searching for that balance, and I really don't think there is one. I always feel like if I'm doing really well at work, something else is suffering. And if I'm on vacation or just spending time doing fun things, then I'm not working enough. So there's always that, and I'm always trying to figure it out. And at this point, I'm just like, well, whatever. I'm just gonna wing it, and just
so it's still a goal, but it's kind of like it will happen when it happens.
Absolutely,
kind of thing.
Yeah, I've kind of taken the pressure off of myself and just kind of take it day by day.
Well, that's it. The more pressure you put on yourself, then you feel like the longer it takes, and kind of puts those roadblocks, and you don't feel like you're actually moving forward.
Well, and I agree with that. I mean, I think that for me personally, a lot of times it really is a downer to think, oh my God, I'm never going to reach that milestone. I'm never going to get to that point where I can put one part behind and another part forward. And so it does. It becomes a heavy weight to bear. And so, I should do what you guys are doing day by day, because I'm always thinking like, oh God, if only this would happen.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I used to lay in bed at night and think of all the things that I didn't get done on my list, and now I don't do that anymore, because I needed to start focusing on the things that I did get done. You know, I get a lot accomplished in a day, and just because I didn't check mark all the 25 things on the list, it's still okay. It'll be there tomorrow. So
That's true. It's not a failure.
No, and that's how I would feel. I would, oh my God, I didn't get all this stuff done today. What is wrong with me? and then I just said, no, that's not the way to look at it. And I really had to flip my mindset and just to take the pressure off.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So do you start the day with a list, or do you just mentally have that?
I have like 5 lists.
I have little reminders pop up on my phone. I have Post-it notes everywhere.
I have my list for work, for this business, for that business, my list for my daughter, my list for my mom, my list for the house, the list for me is down here. And it's just, yeah, I used to let the list run me, but I don't do that anymore. I just pick the most important things from each list, I get them done, and all that other stuff that's not an emergency or it just waits, and I'll get to it when I get to it.
That's great.
Yeah, it takes the pressure off for sure.
So what do you like best about the businesses you're working in?
Go ahead, Marcie. Think about that for a minute.
The business that I'm in, I know that I can help people, and what they call it is budget neutral, because you're already brushing your teeth every day, you're already washing your hair every day. You might be consuming an energy drink every day, and we're just replacing what you're already consuming and purchasing with something that has ingredients that are good for you and not detrimental. And I don't feel good about asking someone to spend money on something that I know myself, in my position, I wouldn't be able to go spend the money myself.
Sure.
And for me to go ask somebody to spend, X amount of money on something that they may or may not really need, that's one of the reasons I was drawn to this particular company, because, like I said, they're already brushing their teeth. Well, if I can offer you something that is a healthier version of what you're using, and you're just swapping it out, then I feel a lot better, because it's really not about the product, it's really about the relationship that you're building, the trust with somebody, and if they trust you enough to try that product, you're not asking them to go ahead and take something that they don't really need. So
That's great. Melissa? Back to you.
Back to me. Okay, so in the mortgage business, it's a great feeling to help someone. I work with a lot of first-time home buyers, so when they buy their first home, it's really exciting. So that always makes me feel good. The workout tanks, we have motivational sayings on them, and they're uplifting. And so when someone buys them and wears them, it just it's a reminder that we need to just stick with things and just keep going, and it just lifts them up, and it's empowering, and again, it's about making people feel good. And the CBD oil products, so many health and wellness benefits. It's really all about helping people, making them, just helping them live a better life.
So now you do videos just about every day on FaceTime. Not FaceTime, on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
No, I mean, you do a great job, and a lot of times you have a great message to share. And that had to be a little bit of a challenge to go ahead and get those started.
It definitely is, because I'm terrified of public speaking.
I would never say that.
It's the weirdest thing. So everyone that I know says they don't believe it, because I will talk to anyone. I can go into a room and talk to anyone. But when all eyes are on me for some reason, I panic. Like, I had this terrible experience when I was in high school history class. I was giving a presentation, and it was a bad experience. And that has stuck with me my whole life since high school. So yeah, I get, I don't even know right now, I might be blotchy right here. I get the butterfly.
She is not blotchy.
But yeah, I knew for my business and to get, some of the things and messages that I wanted to get out there, I knew that I had to do the lives on Facebook. So I just said, okay, well, I'm not gonna let my fear stop me. I just need to do it and get out of my comfort zone, because if I don't, I'll just remain in the same place and I'm not going to grow. So I just kind of said, okay, I'm just going to do it. And my daughter is a great encourager for me. She just says, Mom, just do it. What's the worst thing that's going to happen?
Right.
And so I'm a perfectionist type A. I'm terrified of failing. But she says, so what, if you mess it up, do it again another day. So
Well,
she's a
that's
good
the step I
person.
haven't taken
Yeah,
yet.
yeah,
I could
you'll
sit
get
there
there.
all day with that live button, and I can't. And I've been encouraged to do it. This one inspires me every time I see her. I spoke at my college graduation in front of a couple thousand people, and I really have no idea what I said. There's a video of it that to this day I haven't watched it. It's been some time since I graduated college, and I just haven't brought myself to watch it. And I so want to do it. This is the closest I've gotten to actually pressing the live button, and
It'll be easy.
I
Yes.
feel like I'll do it. It just
You didn't
try to-
press the like button.
I did.
Yeah.
I need
else
somebody else
to
to
take
press
time.
the live button for me, and then maybe I'll do it.
You'll get there in your time. When you
Yeah.
Well, I do think what makes Facebook Live difficult is that, like, for me, and Melissa, you said you're a perfectionist, you're type A,
Yes.
you kind of want to know that you can stop it and start it again if you messed up
Yes,
a little bit. And
right.
you might, even if you're not going to edit it, you can say, oh, well, I forgot to say this. And so it's terrifying not knowing. I mean, to your point, Marcie,
Yeah.
like, I don't know what happened by the time I got done with it.
I started
I
talking
never
and I
know.
stopped talking. I don't know what happened in that
Yeah.
middle part.
I
so.
feel like I just battle, and same thing. I'm like, I don't know what I said, but I know I said like 18 times and whatever. And at the end of the day, I just say, okay, I did it. I got my point across, and yes, I might have said a bunch of times, and I might have cursed, but at the end of the day, I still think I got my message across, so it was okay, and I didn't die, so it's all good.
So do you have any, from a business perspective, do you have any other advice or obstacles or something that you would want to share with the audience who are trying to maybe start their own businesses or take the leap? You've given some great insights as far as, day by day, lists, dealing with what's important. Is there anything else you can offer to people that might be helpful as they're starting their journey?
One thing that I would definitely say is to not listen to all the voices around you in terms of why you can't, why you shouldn't, why this. I missed an opportunity probably about 8 or so years ago probably maybe 10 years ago, that was for a business that I thought I was gonna just run right to the top. And I had all the voices. So you just got divorced. Your kids are too little. You need work full-time
Yes.
jobs. I mean,
We all heard that.
I kick myself on a daily basis because I know the me now knows the me then could have just crushed it.
Yes.
And instead, I listened to everyone's logic, and I missed that opportunity. I mean, I feel like I'm starting to make up for it. I was in another business between that and where I am now, and it was really going great. There was some outside circumstances and why I'm not still there, but you have to trust your own self. You can't listen to those voices of reason because they're their reasons. They're not your reasons. And I know myself a lot better than that. And the fact that I actually did listen at the time, I don't do that anymore.
Yeah,
I've grown from that.
It is very easy to kind of go into hearing what other people have to say and just assuming they know better than you. And I don't know why we do this, but I think we all do it.
Me too. And
We kind of just assume that, oh, well, they must know what they're talking about. They're clearly smarter than me. And that's not usually the case. To your point, Marcie, you know yourself better than anybody. You know what you're capable of. So I'm not sure. I don't know how you shake that, but I think maybe a little bit at a time, trying to figure out like what messages you should be listening to and what messages you can just put aside.
It's a little dance you kind of have to do. I think it's you take a little bit of what they're saying, process it, and then figure out really if it affects you or how it would affect you. You can't listen to, you think that everyone's giving you all this advice because they care, and they do, but they also don't know really what's inside of you and what you're capable of, and at that time was probably the time I could have just ran with it, and I won't make that mistake again. And when people have ideas, I always say, listen, take a chance. Like, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
You don't get there, then you don't get there. You find another avenue. It's all about taking that chance.
And when you're vulnerable and you succeed, it's such an amazing victory. you know? So I agree. I mean, I think sometimes you just kind of have to put the vulnerability aside, whether it's Facebook Live, whether it's, you know, just taking the leap and starting your own thing.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's so important. Melissa, you have...
Yeah, just to add on to what Marcie said, I think, you know, no one knows your life. No one knows what you go through. So, you know, when people are giving you advice, they're kind of basing it on their own life. And I think you just really need to go with your gut. If you feel something, I mean, my gut is pretty much on the money every time. So I really, at this point in my life, I trust it. I really don't question it anymore. And to also not let your fears keep you from doing things like I did. I was afraid to do this, to do that, and then I just said, okay, what's the worst that's going to happen? I don't make it, I don't get there, I don't, you know, get there as fast as I thought, but that's okay.
Right.
But yeah, I've let fear stop me from doing a lot, and I've said, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. Also, the one big one too is not to compare yourself to other people.
Yes.
Oh,
Very
this is
true.
one.
Yes.
This is one that I have beat myself up over so often, and I've just stopped doing it because I would compare myself. I'm like, okay, I'm 46. I should be here at this point in my life. Why am I not here? And so is here. So and so is killing it over here. And oh my gosh! And look at this. And oh my
they're
God,
married and they have
oh
a
my gosh, right? And I would do that all the time. And then I would have to take a step back and say, wait a minute, you have to stop because you have dealt with this, you have dealt with this, you have dealt with this medical issue, your mom, da 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 da. And I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, they didn't have to deal with this stuff. You know, I did. That was my path that was given to me. So I'm where I'm supposed to be. And once I just accepted that and said, okay, this is in the plan, this is where I'm supposed to be right now, it just kind of, again, took that pressure off of me. And I said, okay, I'm fine. This is where, okay, I'll get there eventually. Might not be on my timeline. I'll get there eventually. So I think that's a big one. Just don't compare yourself or your life to other people. Your life is your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you want to start talking some fun because obviously you're
Well,
busy.
this is fun, and I think it's interesting what you both said about not comparing yourself to other people's lives, because we're just so hard on ourselves, and we have so much influences from social media and what people project their life is, and it may not be perfect on the other end. They just want to just show people, you know, everything that's happy about their lives. So it's great that you kind of stay focused, don't beat yourself up, and, you know, stay motivated, especially by your kids. Because I think our kids are our biggest critics, and they're very honest.
Oh yeah.
And they're not afraid to speak up. I love that about that generation. So it's great. So now that you've done all these things, you have multiple tasks, you're moms, raising a family, you have your own businesses, you have full-time jobs. When do you find time to have fun? Because that's something that you know, as moms and you know, so moms, sometimes we forget to have fun. And I think it's important that we set aside some time to have fun. When do you find time to have fun, Marcie?
Well, the first thing that I always think of when somebody asks me that is the first time that my ex-husband took the kids for a weekend. They were very young, and I had all these grand plans in my head what I was going to do, and I found myself on a Friday night sitting on my couch and I just cried because I said, I don't know what I like to do anymore.
Right.
I was so consumed with being a mom because that's that's who I am. And I finally was given, you know, a couple of hours and I didn't know what to do. And I didn't know what I liked anymore. I was like in survival mode, just newly divorced and just like, I didn't know. And I literally took that entire weekend to try to figure out, by doing nothing, what I liked to do again. And I started slowly, and I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, I didn't do anything last night, and I was actually okay with that.
Yeah.
There's times when I'm actually okay with not being anywhere or doing anything. But it is a fine line of finding yourself again, and I like to do photography. I love spending time with my friends. I like to cook. I actually like to go grocery shopping. I know that sounds really
I'll give you my list.
I get very inspired by stuff, by recipes and, you know, things like that. But I just, it's really hard to find that me time and not have the guilt of having the me
Yes.
time. And
Mommy guilt.
that's just,
Yeah.
that's just how
Mhm.
that's what I think of when I really think back to what do you like to do? And I was like, I didn't even know what I like to do anymore.
I always found that to be a very difficult question with online dating sites. It was like, what were your interests and hobbies? And I'm like, shoot, I haven't had those in a long time. Like, my kids, you know.
I watch my kids play
Right.
sports.
I cook dinner.
Dinner.
Yeah.
3 different meals. and-
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Melissa?
I make it a point, I just started doing this recently, that Sunday is my day.
Nice.
I do
That's
what I
great.
want. Whatever it is, I read, I do a little reading, I go for a bike ride, I'll go for a walk, I'll take a nice long hot bath, I'll do my nails, whatever I want to do without feeling guilty. If my daughter is home, she has such a busy social life now that she's really not home much, but if she is home, we'll do things together. But it's not, like, I put the phone away if I can, I don't get on the computer, I don't turn the TV on, I just do what I want to do, and I really, it really helps, like, just to recharge, you know, my batteries. And then Monday morning, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
But if I used to do this, I used to work 7 days just nonstop, and I never would take a break from the computer. I would always there's always something. I mean, you know, I have 5 lists. There's always something I can do.
Right.
But I learned to just put those away and let them be for a little while, because I need that time for myself, definitely.
And you'll burn out if you work 7 days a week.
Oh, that's happening.
That's not healthy for you.
Yeah, it took me a long time to learn that it was okay. And again, the guilt. I would feel guilty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I should be doing that. I should be doing that load of laundry. I should fold that laundry that's sitting in the dryer. Or, you know, there's
We're picking out of the basket for
or
days.
that I'm just turning the dryer back on to get the wrinkles out because it's out there. I mean, at the end of the day, I just have to, nobody's gonna die if the pants are wrinkled. It's okay. It's okay.
Yes.
I need time for me
Yeah.
and to do things that make me happy too, because I matter too. You know, we do everything for our kids, which, you know, we all love to do as moms, but we all have to remember ourselves too. We count too. Yeah.
Well, Marcie likes to go food shopping, so
Right.
it's on your
I
list.
get that.
Oh,
You
start a
were
business.
so
You know, with other people.
Yeah, well, I might not love it that much. I don't mind it,
You
but
don't mind it. Oh, you see, you like it.
I do like it,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna just get a little bit personal. I feel like some of these people that have been on TV for a while, I'm not gonna make you cry, but you know, are you dating? Are you seeing anyone? Do you find time to date? How is it dating? And they both, something's funny's coming because they're both giggling. Marcie.
You want to start first?
No, not really.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think dating after your 40s sucks. I have not had a great experience. First of all, this whole online dating thing, I don't know if it's for me. I mean, everybody says it's great, but I need to meet someone in person to feel that vibe. Like, you can look great on paper and look good on the computer, but then if I meet you in person and there's nothing there, then there's nothing there. There's never going to be anything there. So online dating is really hard for me, and it almost became like another job. We have part-time
Oh,
jobs.
yes.
Going
yes.
through
Oh, it's an
all the
interview.
messages and
Yes.
the links and the this and the that.
Oh.
I really didn't enjoy it. So I did a couple of sites, and there's one that I'm gonna try here soon, because I was at a family barbecue yesterday. My cousin met a really nice guy, so I said, all right, I'll give it another try. And then that's it though. And then for me, where I live, there's not a lot to do. There aren't like a lot of places to meet people, so I have to figure out where to meet people in person. Like, besides going to the local bar.
Yes, no,
That
I don't
doesn't
recommend the
work.
local bar. Yes.
So I'm still trying to figure all of that out.
Yeah.
There actually are a few online places where they have groups that get together,
Yeah.
that do physical activities, they have camping groups, or people who just like to go bowling,
Walk on the beach.
or go to the beach, or just,
Right.
or like wine tasting groups who just
Okay.
like together.
That I
You have to
could
be
do.
careful though, you have to be careful because you don't want to meet an alcoholic.
Right.
But there are different groups that you could really venture out and find out about, and you know, because I don't recommend meeting anyone at a bar. Yes, as a single person at the time after my divorce, I tried online dating for a few years, and I got the really craziest people online, and it is like a job interview.
It is.
There's a
It's-
reason why
it's
they're behind a
constant.
computer.
It's so exhausting.
Exhausting, that's
Yes.
a great word for
It's-
it,
that's-
exhausting.
I used to say that I used to go to my best friend's house always before I went on these dates, and I would say, "Oh my God, I just can't even remember who I'm going out with tonight." And I'm like, "And what stories have I told them already? And did I like them? Like, I don't
It's
know."
crazy.
So yeah, it is exhausting, and I think if you have fun, you can have fun with it.
Yes.
But you kind of have to not take it so seriously. But you know, I'm not gonna lie. When I did it, my best friend and I, we had code words that we would have to text throughout the night to
Yes, same.
say we're
Just
safe.
safe words.
And I would straight out say to the person right at the beginning of the date, "Just so you know, my best friend will be texting me. It is not a, oh my God, my grandmother's sick, please come help." It is not like an easy way out. It is truly to make sure we are safe. And my best friend needed to know who I was going to be with, where I was going to be. I had to text her when I got there. I had to text her when I left.
Yeah, that's
It
great.
was just the
Smart.
way that we had to protect each other because nobody else had our back in those situations,
Right,
right?
exactly, exactly.
And even with all the safety in place, you just don't want to waste your time.
Yes. Well,
I mean, when it really comes down to it, the amount of things, I mean, just the two of us that can sit here and tell you the 5 million things that we could be doing, should be doing,
Oh,
have to be
right,
doing. If I'm taking the time, and we've talked about this,
Absolutely.
Melissa and I, if I'm taking the time to go meet someone, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste their time, but I don't want to waste my time.
Right.
So either you are who you are, that you say you are on the site, or just
Don't.
pass by.
Right.
Just leave me
It's
alone
like, just don't
and
waste
leave
my
me.
time,
Yeah, just
right? Because it's
yeah.
time that we're taking away from our children.
our children, our
Anything.
business,
Lives.
our
Lives, yeah.
everything. I mean,
Doing your nails. You could be
it's my
brushing
night to wash
your
my
teeth.
hair.
I mean, you could go
Yeah.
out every single night. That's the problem.
Right.
Like, I can't go out every night. But
No.
then everybody says you have to meet them in person.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot
It's
of
a lot of
work.
work.
No, I'm gonna have to check out groups because I think that might work better for me. 'Cause
Yeah,
like I said,
groups
I need
are-
to feel that vibe. Like if you have positive vibe, then good. If there's a little spark, then good. If there's
Right.
not, it's never going to work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how I am. I either like you or I don't within the first 2 minutes.
Well, and it could be great communication through text, and some people hide behind the text.
Yes.
And then, years ago, I had this great conversation with this guy for 2 weeks on text. We never talked on the phone for some reason. And then we met in person at a restaurant. And literally, if I didn't talk, there would have been nothing said. And I thought, this can't be the same person. He's texting me constantly. Like, he just
His
can't
best friend
be.
was texting you.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it just, and I have like a little file in my email, like, for the book I'm going to write.
Yes.
The lines that you get, and the stories, and I can't. I'm like, there's a reason why there's people online, and I'm just, I don't know that I'm cut out for it. Like, I find it, once I start finding it really frustrating, I jump off and I just take a break, because I just can't anymore.
And I've found too, you either have friends who always want to set you up, or
Nobody
wants to set you
right,
up.
Nobody.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have this
nobody's
guy,
staged.
but I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't set you
I
up.
would do that too.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So do you have any interesting stories that you want to share, or any fun things that? I'll share one too, so don't feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing crazy, nothing scary. I mean, I had a date to meet for drinks. You can't even call it a date, though, I've been told. But I think if you're meeting someone for
It's a
drinks,
date.
that's what
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Other people have said no.
A
So.
prep meeting?
Yeah.
This is the pre-date.
So we had a date to meet for drinks, and he lived, it was great. He lived 10 minutes from me. So I'm like, hey, this might be something good. And I get there, and I'm always on time, and he was hammered already. And I'm like, seriously? And so I was like, all right, well, I'll have one drink because I didn't want to be super rude.
Yeah.
But so about 15, 20 minutes, we were, at the bar like this. And all of a sudden, I feel his hand over here. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, okay. I finished my drink. Nice to meet you. Bye. That was that. And then I had one where this guy messaged me, I was on a dating site, he messaged me and he's like, oh, you know, you're really pretty, your pictures are great, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I'm not really looking for a relationship though, because right now my dog is my priority. I said, what? He said, I like to spend a lot of time at home with my dog, she's really attached to me. And I was like, oh my God.
And you're on
You
a dating
for
site,
real?
why?
I said, why are you on here?
Just take your dog out for a bit.
Can't you bring it with? No. But yeah, those are the two like silliest things. Like nothing major, you know. But those are the top for me.
Yeah,
It's all crazy.
Lots of crazies out there.
there are.
Do you have any?
Oh gosh. I've been on and off for so many years. I mean, I guess the worst one is when someone sends you pictures and then you actually meet in person and
Oh, I thought you were talking to
you-
text.
So did I.
well, thankfully, no.
That happens
on the
after
first
yeah.
That happened before.
Yeah.
Really? Oh my God. No.
Yeah, that hasn't happened yet, thank God. No, they'll send you a picture. I was supposed to meet this one guy a couple years ago, and he's like, well, here's a picture of me, and he sends me this picture, and I was like, oh, okay, it looks normal. I mean, define normal these days, I don't even know, but so we ended up meeting the next night, and I sat there to be nice for like 2 hours with him, and I could almost feel the pain of the server looking at me going, what are you doing? I could not see the resemblance of the guy that I was sitting across from, and I'm like, why would you send it? And
Yeah,
I wasn't brave enough to be like, you look nothing like your picture.
Right.
Because,
Who
you know
are
what,
you?
it can't always be about looks. It has to be about the person.
Sure.
But literally, I don't know if he sent a friend. I don't even know. It was just...
So there was no resemblance. It wasn't like it was a picture from
I
10
spent
years
2
ago.
hours trying to find a resemblance. And I
And I had
find
my
one.
phone up going like, no,
Yeah.
no,
And
I'm
then
not
probably
here.
like the weirdest thing, so not weird, but like funny weird, is many years ago, I was gonna meet this guy at a place, and he's like, so we'll plan to meet for a drink. He goes, and I should have just picked up on this. And he goes, and then if I don't really think it's going anywhere, we won't go for dinner. We'll just end then. And I'm like,
Terms and conditions.
Nice.
I was thinking, am I gonna have to sign this contract?
A waiver.
So we meet for this drink because I had nothing else to do. I had like this free weekend, and I'm like, well, I'll just meet him for a drink, whatever.
That's a little fun.
And we meet for a drink. He's like, so you want to go grab something to eat? And I'm thinking, oh, I must have passed the test. I'm like, no, it's okay. I gotta get back home. I got a lot of stuff to do. And I'm thinking, oh no, like I'm not.
You don't get
not-
this.
You don't decide like if we're gonna, either we're gonna meet. So from that moment on, if I do end up meeting somebody out, it's literally we'll meet for a drink. I don't do the dinner thing. I don't want anybody buying me a dinner and then me having to sit there and have a whole conversation. I don't want it to feel like everybody's doing that.
Yeah.
I'll meet for a drink. If we hit it off, great. Let's plan a date.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the pre-date kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
I don't know.
It's funny because, I'm sorry, because one of the interesting things that I found, I dated this one guy, and he made a very interesting comment to me, which I don't know if it was his way of trying to get me to pay the bill or what, but it's a really good point where he said, this online dating stuff is really expensive because the expectation is that the man always pays.
Yes.
And he said, you go on all these single dates or, multiple dates, and you're always the one paying. And I was like, yeah, I never really thought about it before. Oh, the check came, let me give you some money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he just, I don't know. And like Melissa said earlier, it's literally like having another job.
It is.
And there's some days I'm like, that's it, I quit.
Yeah.
I go
There's my resignation letter of it.
Yes, there were definitely months where I was like, I can't. You
Yeah,
have to
take
take
it.
prepared, and then for like 6 months, and then all of a sudden I'd like get the itch again, and I'd start looking, and sure enough, a couple weeks later, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Well, they say it's when you're not looking is when something
I know,
finds
and then
you.
you're like,
So
I'm not looking, I'm not
You
looking.
must have amnesia around the corner. You haven't walked around yet. Yeah.
It's all about being ready. It's so funny because I had my checklist of what type of dates I would accept, and for me it was like I would never accept drink dates. because I set the bar so high, I expect them to take me out to dinner every time. And so if it was a drink date, sorry, I don't drink.
Oh, okay.
But if you like to have dinner, that's fine, because I really wanted to get to know that person.
Right.
So my standards were just like too high. Some of my friends would say, oh my God, Ilsy, you're never gonna find anyone
That's
if
what
your
I
standards
did.
are that
Yeah.
high. I says, well, this is my expectations.
Right.
If he's gonna take me to Applebee's for dinner, then I know later on you're not getting a second date from me.
Right.
So it is very tiring, and it's like you're always on all the time, and it's exhausting, and you're doing your hair and your makeup.
Don't
and
want to do that.
you gotta make sure you don't look fat that day or not bloated. Just so much involved in these things. So it's fun. I think it's part of life, and socializing and just having a good time. And it's a little bit of me time, because we're always consumed with really adulting life. Like adulting is hard. It's hard. It's a lot of work, and especially when you put kids into play and businesses into play, we have to find time to really just sit and maybe just do nothing, or hang out with our friends, or just kind of go on dates. Sometimes it's a little funny. It could be comedy.
You have to make it
Share with
fun.
friends.
Well, you learn a lot about yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
that was, to me,
Yeah.
that was the richest part of the process for me, was that I got to know a little bit more about me.
Yeah.
What do I like? What do I dislike?
Right.
What are things that, are interesting to me? Or not interesting
Yeah.
to me about other people. And so you really to get to know who you are as a person, and talking about your whole, the rite of passage of going through the what are my interests thing right after you go through a divorce. But it truly is part of the process in finding yourself, I think. And so at the very least, if you can laugh at that and learn from that, I think that's a pretty good experience.
Yes,
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too.
agreed.
So we want to talk about your t-shirts real quick. I want you to show your t-shirt that you sell, and give us your website where anyone could find you or want to purchase your shirts. Some of the proceeds go towards, if you want to mention that as well.
Yeah. So these are the tank tops that my daughter and I create. They're all motivational sayings. And the reason we started it, it came about after my daughter's scoliosis diagnosis, which was a little over a year ago. We just were struggling with a lot of things, and at that time I needed to find an outlet for myself, and I ran the idea past her, and again, I was afraid to do it, and she goes, Mom, just do it, what's the worst that can happen? And so we worked on it together, and that summer she had to go through physical therapy. So we would drive, it was a 2-hour round trip, she would have physical therapy for 2 hours. So that was how we spent last summer. And the only thing that we looked forward to was working on this project together. So it kind of kept our mind off of the negative so we could focus on the positive. So we created the shirts, and the website is goaldigger.fitness. And the proceeds are going to help pay for her medical treatment for that.
Can you just read real quick, because I'm not sure if they're going to be able to see. What does that one say?
This one says, strong women lift each other up. And, we went online and we just looked up sayings that spoke to us. And this is very important to me, because for a long time, I was the type of person who I would never ask anyone for help. I'm independent, I'll do it myself. And I just have a hard time asking for help. And when I found the GEM group, I was talking to a friend, and she was kind of advising me a little bit on things that I needed to do for business. When I started this, she said, we definitely have to get into some groups. So I stumbled upon the GEMs, and it was like this whole world existed that I never knew. Being in the mortgage business, it's like a male-dominated industry. I've never experienced women supporting women. I've never experienced, asking for help and getting 10 answers back and getting offers of help. So this is my favorite shirt, my favorite saying. It's very important. When you surround yourself with strong women that will help one another, I think it's the best thing you can do. I've gotten rid of so many negative people in my life. It makes a world of difference. It makes a world of difference. Yeah. So we have about 10 or 12 sayings at this point. So yeah, it's fun. We enjoy doing it. It's Thank you.
Marcie, where can
Thank
we
you.
find you? Do you have a website?
Yes, my website is www.modere.com, and then it's a front slash, and it's 129201. That's my direct link.
Okay.
So.
Great. So, inspiring stories. I hope we inspired you with this topic about being an entrepreneur, being a single mom, prioritizing your life, to have fun. If you dating, funny stories with disclosures, terms and agreements. Just wanted to share a few things that our lovely friend Andrea Potion sponsored this show today, and this is the pet shampoo. This is just to help get rid of, keep your pet safe, away from ticks and mosquitoes. I use it on my pooch. She's not here today because she was barking too much. And also, here's her soaps as well. I use this on my kids. Andrea Potions. It's www.andreapotions.com. We're gonna put it up on our video as well, everyone's website. Again, we're both really
Very
so
excited.
happy to have you as our first guest.
Yeah.
When we were looking for our first guest, and what we really want people to understand about what we're passionate about was to really empower other women and show them that, this is real life.
Yeah.
Like, shit gets fucked up sometimes in life, and you gotta keep moving.
Yeah.
And, and being single, and I mean, it's all a journey.
Absolutely.
But we have each other, and we make sure that we have awareness out there. We let people know that you're not alone. Look, you're okay. We are okay.
Yes.
And so, again, thank you for being our guest. We're so honored to have you here. We're so honored to have you as friends, and
Thank you
we
guys
really
so
wish you
much.
nothing but the best of success.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
All right.
Till next time.
Till next time.